Good evening everyone and welcome to the Xrp Breakout stream. Xrp today has been absolutely flying, retesting the all-time high of $3.40. And tonight we're going to watch it hopefully break the all-time high, discuss what is going on in the markets, and a few reasons why everybody should prepare to not sleep for the next few weeks. The market is on phenomenal form over the last few days. There's green everywhere. People are suddenly turning bullish and prices are reflecting that. We are seeing Solana look like it's going to break out. We've got XRP obviously at all-time high. We've got Ethereum absolutely smashing it this week. We've got SWI looking like it could break the $4 mark, which probably sends it higher, and the total market cap has just made an all-time high last night candle close. So lots to look at, lots to discuss. We'll get to some questions and yeah, let's dive in. So as we can see, XRP, the previous all-time high set in January, $3.40 it was. Some exchanges will show different prices, but $3.40 for the sake of argument. So all-time high. We have rebounded back to that after 6 months of just chops, sideways, up, down. We even got as low as, I think it was 161 at one point, and now we are back at all-time high. This is what we spoke about last night. So if you weren't on last night, we spoke about putting in a low, bouncing, retesting that level. That's a spring and back test. We then broke out of the downtrend on the daily, we broke out of the downtrend on the weekly, and we are finally at the final target before XRP goes into price discovery. And as we've spoke about many times before, top end target for me anywhere up to maybe $11, but kind of that $7 to $9 range is where I would be expecting it to go. And if we look back, we'll look back at the 2017 run. You can see that XRP moves really quickly, the market moves really quickly, and I expect that to happen again once we get a clean break. We'll have a quick look across the market. Bitcoin was just back up at this $120,000 range, bounced back down, trading at 118,500. Tonight they're voting on the Clarity Act, the Genius Act, and I do think they'll all pass. I think the Clarity Act might have already passed, and then the Genius Act is definitely going to pass. So Trump should be signing the Genius Act into law tomorrow, which is hugely bullish for stablecoins, bullish for liquidity, more importantly, and bullish for crypto as a whole. We've got Ethereum testing that 3,500 level last night, got up as high as $3,485, back down just below $3,400 today as we speak. I think Ethereum is showing huge strength. I think the Clarity Act is all about who governs commodities, taking it away from the SEC, and I think Ethereum could be in that category with Bitcoin, so that'll be very bullish for Ethereum. If we look further out, we've got BNB. So we spoke about Binance Coin last night, breaking that $700 mark. We tested 728 earlier, which you can see was the high back in December. Then again in January, then again in February. I think this level breaks probably in the next 24 hours. And then I think BNB goes back to all-time high, which is 793. From there, if BNB breaks that, then probably talking $1,000 target for BNB, which is crazy to think. We were on stream when BNB was down here at this level here, around, was it? Yeah, just in here at $200, and everybody wanted to short the market. You can see we've still got the yellow box on it, touched it 3 times. Everybody got lured into shorts, and ever since, that was October 2023, ever since BNB has been up and to the right, and yeah, pretty impressive performance touched on Solana. So Solana on the daily, we showed this parallel channel last night. Let me zoom in. You can see the parallel channel there coincided with the 200-day moving average. If we actually go to the daily time frame, you can see we back tested that channel as support. Let me zoom in. Earlier today, and have bounced, and the target for this move I think takes it to about 195. Any other notable moves today? The market, to be fair, up until about an hour ago was flying, and then kind of got slapped back down as XRP hit that all-time high. Now I'm going to put a chart on the screen which you don't have to understand, you don't have to look at it, but hopefully you can see here on the right hand side, you can see the sell orders on Binance, and you can see at $3.41 there's a $3.5 million sell order for XRP. Someone really doesn't want XRP to go into price discovery tonight, and you can see there's some massive sell walls, 340, 339. You know, you add them up, you get quite close to over 5 million anyway pretty quickly. So whether these are real sells or whether they're just spoof orders, and we might see some news later on and then this just gets cancelled, this sell order, that's probably what will happen. A lot of times these market makers and order books, it's fake orders. It's just to spook people out. It's just to keep price contained, and then once the time is right, once they get the okay, that's when they let the taps loose. So right now we've got a $3.4 million sell order at 341. We'll keep an eye on that as the stream goes on, and I imagine that might get removed, and when it does, the price is likely to fly. Looks like 346 would be the next big sell wall, and then 351 has a $2 million sell wall. So people clearly wanting price to stay below all-time high. Let's see who's in the chat. We've got quite a lot of people on. If you're new to the stream, let us know. I will also drop the link for CC Pro, our private members community. Let me get this up here. Let's see who is all in. Jack, Lewis, everyone looking very, very bullish. Almost Borg season, it is indeed. We'll come back to CC Pro shortly. What do we think of Borgy? We'll cover that. Andrew can't hang about. Xborg and Inspect. Jazzy's enjoying the tunes by the looks of it. Fraser's saying they've all passed, which is unreal. And yeah, we can touch on the acts as well if you want. So basically the Genius Act was all about regulating stablecoins. So basically what it meant was anyone can now apply to issue a stablecoin. So banks can issue stablecoins. So JP Morgan could launch the JP Morgan stable US dollar, but they have to hold dollars in cash or in US treasuries 1-to-1 per stablecoin. So it means if stablecoins issue $1 billion of stablecoins, they have to hold $1 billion of cash or $1 billion of treasury. Well, right now banks hold loads of treasuries anyway, which means they can issue stablecoins backed by the treasuries they already hold. The banks in America hold $3.5 trillion of treasuries, so that means they can issue $3.5 trillion worth of stablecoins without any extra risk, without any real headaches for the bank. On top of that, every time they issue more stablecoins, they have to go and buy treasuries. That's really bullish for the government. It's really bullish for yields because they'll come down, and it's just bullish overall because the more stablecoins, the more price action in crypto. The Clarity Act just decides who governs crypto, whether it's the CFTC or the SEC, and by the looks of it, it's going to be the CFTC for Bitcoin and maybe Ethereum, and probably the SEC for most of the other altcoins. There is a big part in it about DeFi, basically making DeFi more regulated, which is good because people will then be able to use DeFi, and I think DeFi will have a huge bull run coming up. So that's basically the two acts summarized. Let me see what else is happening. Jamie bought some CRV. CRV is flying, so nice job buying that. On the weekly, it's an insane move. We're up 45% so far in the week. Last night when I was on stream, I was saying if we got a daily candle close above this 84, call it 84.7 level, that would be really bullish and getting to 132 pretty quickly. We've obviously broke that last night. We're sitting at 95 cents. I do think we'll get to 132 pretty soon. Once we break out of there, this accumulation zone goes back to May 2022. So it's basically just been chopping sideways for 3 years. Over 3 years. So when we break above that, I do think we'll get an explosive move, and I think we could head up to kind of $3 range very quickly. And it doesn't take a lot of capital to move. CRV is one of the big benefits of this DeFi regulation in the States, which is why it's doing so well. So the Clarity Act directly impacts things like CRV. So yeah, very bullish. Nice buy as well. Nice taking the leap of faith. Hassan's going to buy a Rolex. Nice. Let's have a look at Algorand for somebody. And we'll come back to XRP in a second, because I see the message about it being a sell the news event. So we'll talk about that in a second. It actually ties into something that I was looking at before I came on stream that me, Deck and Dom were talking about this morning. Yeah, Algorand still in this kind of range dating back to May 2022 as well. Broken above the 200-day moving average just here. Just looks like it's kind of consolidating. Maybe get a bit of cool off above 30 cents. Build support. 30 cents, you can see key level back in time. Quite a few hits on it. So you might get just a wee bit of sideways action for a couple of days before the next move higher. In terms of where it could go, short to medium term, for me, based on the fibs, just from this move, you're talking 211. That's obviously not part of the bigger move, so it could go higher. But yeah, I would be looking that 183 to $2.11 range looks like a good area to get most of the profit out of the market. And I said this last night, and I'll say it again, but you've had 3 years of buying sub 40 cents, so easy 5x. You should have scooped up as much as possible down in this 10 cent area, maybe even lower. And if you did, you're well positioned to make solid gains on a coin like Algorand. So Kenny K, we will be letting CC Pro members know about taking profits. So if anyone's new on stream and they're not, they've not tuned in before, they don't know what we're all about, we have a private members group called CC Pro. It's a Discord group, and we basically provide as much educational content as our members can probably handle. We've got daily members updates, we've got beginners guides, we've got TA trading, we've got tutorials on everything you need to know, even sending money from one exchange to another. We've got copy trading, we've got the podcast, which we dropped the latest episode just earlier today. We've got project updates, we've got meme coins, we've got everything, and we've got a chat room where crypto investors can all chat and discuss and network, which, of course, if you're in crypto, you probably know is quite a lonely place. So check it out. The link is in the description, in the chat as well. And yeah, we also provide our profit taking guide. We provide when we're taking profits, when we're buying coins. It's basically a diary of what we're doing in the markets as well. So yeah, we will be dropping when we're taking profits on coins. We will be dropping how much we're taking, when we're taking it, and only for members. So you need to be in CC Pro to get that profit taking information, because the hardest thing to do in crypto is take profits. So somebody said, I read it somewhere, I can't see it now, that this was a sell the news event. As always, this is a sell the news event. You could be right, to be fair. So we do see that quite a lot. We see run-ups into big news events. The difference this time is the Genius Act and the Clarity Act weren't meant to be passed together, and in fact the Clarity Act won't be signed into law just based on this vote tonight. The Genius Act will. But I think the momentum around crypto is so bullish right now. You've got Bitcoin companies, and the impact of this regulation is going to allow companies to actually buy crypto, hold crypto, build on crypto, invest in it from a company standpoint. It's like a game changer for the whole space in terms of the infrastructure, rather than just, yeah, you can buy Bitcoin and you can sell Bitcoin. So I don't know if I believe it is a sell the news event. I mean, I could be wrong. We could see the market crash over the next 24 hours and, you know, then it could have been a sell the news event. But right now, I don't think so. I think what's probably happened is there is a lot of profit taken. There's also a lot of manipulation in the market right now. You can see that Binance sell order. That's not retail investors that's got that sell order. So, yeah, I think let's see how the next 24 hours plays out. But I think a big problem is this. So me, Deck, and Dom were speaking about this morning. And this is funny because someone I know actually tweeted it later this afternoon saying, we're in a full-on bull market in Altseason. The reason for the constant chop is over-leveraged traders, and you can see the liquidations is in this box here. You can see how many people are getting chopped out of the market every single day. But basically what he's trying to say is, stop having this bear market PTSD. This is actually happening. So the pump is real. But people are so worried because they've slogged it out. We thought this was the pump back in December. We thought that was it. We'll go to the Bitcoin chart. When we got this run up here to 108k, everybody thought that was it. Bull run started. It's going to fly. Trump's going to take office. Then the market's going to absolutely fly. It never happened. We've spent 6 months chopping around, hitting back to 74k. We've had massive drops, even this kind of cascading candle down here. So we've had chaos for 6 months, and people still have that mindset that market starts pumping, everybody freaks out. Oh, it's going to crash. Oh, it's not going to last. Oh, we're going to go back to the lows. This time for me is the real thing. We're seeing liquidity pour in. We're seeing coins go back to their all-time highs. We're seeing the breadth open up in the market. And to add to this, we are also seeing the S&P close at new all-time highs. NASDAQ close at new all-time highs. The Russell 2000 continues to show strength. From this April low when the tariff war kicked in, the Russell 2000's up 33%. So for me, I hate the phrase, but I do think this is different. I think this is the real bull run. I think Trump said it all year. We're going to have an amazing economy. We're going to have an amazing bull run. It was just about getting all the timing right. And finally, I think we're here and the patience is here. And this is kind of just the natural reaction that everybody doubts whether it's real or not. So you could be right. It could be a sell the news, or it could just be that people are taking a bit of profit based on the news, and by the candle close at 1 AM UK time, we'll be at all-time highs and ready to go. Let's have a look at Hedera. Someone asked earlier on. We get asked about Hedera quite a lot. It's one of the altcoins that got named, I think, by Trump, a party's crypto strategic reserve. That's why these made in America coins, allegedly. I don't buy into any of that narrative. I think Hedera looks pretty good. Came down, put in this low, came back, tested that low at the 200-day moving average on the 3-day chart, and then since then it's pretty much been flying. take it this was June. We are up 91% since then. So that would have been an amazing time to buy. You can see it's just working through the fibs. Bounced off the 382 as resistance back in May, and now you can see that we've tested that as support. So all looks pretty good. Double bottom potentially. So what the target just of this double bottom would be something like there, which takes us right to the 702. The 702 is always a sticky resistance in crypto, so expect Hedera to go to the 702 very soon. Maybe stick around up there for a bit. Long term, I think it does really well. I think it probably goes to these levels really quickly. New all-time high will come, no doubts about it, to be honest. Especially the fact that it's got this bullish crypto narrative behind it. Jamie Mack, yeah, I do actually. 22 cents is decent for Borg. Ryan Boylan. Let's have a look at XDC. It's not one we normally ask on the channel, so makes a bit of change. And then we'll look at Aero as well. Let's have a look at the daily. Yeah, XDC, to be fair, it looks pretty good. This double bottom is everywhere in crypto right now. We're now trying to break the 200-day moving average. A bit of consolidation here, which is nice. Probably reset some of the indicators. And then move much higher. So yeah, looks pretty healthy. Looks like if you get a close above the 0.07783, then you're good to go. Do you see Flame react? I saw you've asked this about 10 times. I think the entire altcoin market will do well once we start seeing all-time highs for some of the big caps. So I spoke about this last night. This is the others chart. This is the crypto chart, or the crypto market minus the top 10. Right now it's really barely moved. We're still at the 50% retracement. We've not put in a new all-time high. Once this chart starts moving, that's when we'll see the small cap altcoins fly. We'll see things like Flame, LimeWire, MV, Opulus, all stuff like that start to do really well. But until then, it's going to be dominated, I would imagine, by Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, things like that. BNB, if BNB breaks into all-time high, it's going to need quite a bit of liquidity to fly. So, yeah, I think Flame will do really well, but I think it's going to take a bit of time for that capital rotation to happen throughout the market. Let's have a look at Aero. Can't remember which chart we used. Let's use this one. Yeah, looking pretty strong. I'm sure Deck's still got a long open on it. We looked at it last night, did we? Have a look at Ondo as well. Very similar to XDC, to be fair. Just battling with the 200-day moving average. Clear breaker here. Everything, this is the thing, this is another reason why it looks really strong right now. The market is, everything seems to be approaching key levels at the right time. We said this last week, so I don't know if it was a members only stream, but Total 2 was just gearing up for a big move. You could just see it in the chart. Total market cap broke out today, putting a new all-time high. So, yeah, everything's lining up at the right time, which is nice. David, I saw this question as well. I think the other thing is just because, so the target is still taken based on the fib levels, and because XRP never put in a new all-time high in 2021, the fib levels still stand. So yeah, I would go off fibs. You'll see crazy predictions for XRP on Twitter. You will see the typical ones, $589. You'll see loads of crazy predictions like that, but we go off fib levels. So I think $10 is possible, but I wouldn't be holding out for it. And the reason for that is XRP moves really fast and up and down, so you don't really want to get caught. I think I've got a better chart somewhere. Yeah, so you can see in 2017 consolidating and then literally exploded. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks of absolute tearing, and then within 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks you're back down under $1 from being up at this 330 level. So that's why you need to have a take profit plan, execute, and be ready to take profit, because these pumps sometimes don't last long. It's not like they're going to hang about at all-time high for a month. And I would imagine if we go down to lower time frames, yeah, you can see it's even more extreme. You know, it literally touches the all-time high and dumps. And how much is that? Let's see. 17% in a day. So you need to have take profit levels set. You need to know where you're taking profit and then be ready to execute when the time is right. So while you might hold out for, you might think it could go to $11, that's fine. But what happens if it goes to $10.50 and you're stuck waiting for that massive candle and it just doesn't come? Anything could happen, especially in crypto, which we've learned over the last 6 months. Nice to see Bitcoin back at 119. I'd like to see Bitcoin back above 120k. I think that would add some confidence into the market as well. Ryan's asking for TARS AI. Let's have a look. It's on Gate.io, so I've already not got a great opinion of it. But yeah, weirdly actually just looks like it's consolidating. Let's zoom in a little bit because it looks like it's in some form of downtrend. Needs to break that. You know, something like that. So it could be just in a bit of a pennant formation, break out of that. You would expect some upside. The only thing is it could be a bear flag because it's in a downtrend, then in a flag. That normally leads to further downside. I don't know anything about the token apart from the fact that it's on Gate, which is a bit of a trash exchange if you ask me, but yeah, could break either way. So technically it's in a bit of a downtrend on the daily from May, so yeah, I mean hopefully it breaks up. You bought it on Swissport? Yeah, that's fine. Buy it wherever you want. It just means, all I mean is it's not on, like even when we go to it, I think, well, it actually is. It's on a few other big exchanges. But it's not on, why did that not come up? Yeah. Let's do Pepe. Somebody asked about Pepe on our alpha stream this week. In fact, I think it was perhaps Dawn. Yeah, Pepe looks great. I think Pepe's going to have an amazing bull run. And the reason for that is just because it seems like it's been around for years, and I think Pepe's always seems to get coverage. It's always doing really well in terms of engagement. I also think it's a token that newbies will flock to, especially because I think Doge will get really high this cycle, so I don't think it will necessarily attract the same meme crowd, whereas Pepe still does. Plus it's got a bit of history, plus it's everywhere. So yeah, I think Pepe will do really well. I can see an all-time high coming quite soon, and probably when that gets to an all-time high, that's a real signal. Pepe could be one of those coins that's a bit of a signal that we're nearing a local top. Once it goes into all-time high, it probably tells you there's a lot of froth, there's a lot of risk taking, there's a lot of retail in the market. That's probably a good signal that there's a local top coming very soon. Let's have a look at Borg. Yeah, we covered Borg last night, still in this kind of accumulation zone. Does look like they're starting to ramp up some marketing. I've seen quite a bit of action on Twitter about what's coming, about how they've been lining up everything for the second half of this year. So yeah, excited to see what they can do. Massive Borg holder, so I'm hoping we see some action pretty soon. Again, it's kind of like what I was saying about Flame and stuff like that, is you really need the capital rotation in the market to flow into the smaller cap altcoins, and then Borg also needs that retail FOMO and newbies coming out in the market to really kickstart its run. Let's have a look for you. So July we won't get a rate cut, not at the present moment, but what we might get in July is indication of the next rate cut, which is likely to be September. It's balanced right now, but I can't see us getting beyond September without a rate cut. The Fed themselves have said they see 2 rate cuts this year, so September and October make the most sense. Doubt they're going to do December. So yeah, September and October seems like the 2 rate cut months. The other thing is, I use this all the time, but you do question how it's made up, because it changes every single day, and they're not surveying people every day. Yeah, $3 for Borg would be my top target. I think it could get there. I don't think there's going to be a lot of people taking profit before it gets up north of kind of $1.50. So I think it can make that move quite quickly. And then obviously new users, new adopters, new people coming out of the platform, new use cases, new utility for Borg as well. That would really add to it. And then yeah, we could see some impressive gains for Borg. Also, if you're new to the stream, just 2 weeks ago, we have launched our own token called Vantage. So Vantage is designed to pay passive income to token holders. The fund Vantage uses the funds to invest in diverse assets across the market. And really, we created this token so that people can make money any market passively. They don't have to constantly be checking their phone. They just have to buy the token, stake it, and earn and they earn in USDT every month as well. They don't earn tokens. The problem with the traditional crypto model is when you stake, you earn the tokens. So what happens is every month, if I stake 10,000 tokens and every month I get 1,000 new tokens, I'm probably happy with my 10,000. So I just constantly sell the extra 1,000. We don't want that. So we created the returns in USDT every month, paid passively. Our goal is for the fund to earn yield between kind of 6 and 10% every single month, and we'll pay that to token holders. So yeah, I've dropped the link for the pre-sale. It's open right now. We're going to close it very, very soon. When it closes, we will start publishing some of the performance of the fund. We're already in very strong profits from the fund. The first month's returns will be published at the start of August, and I think the pre-sale is closing within the next few days, but when we publish those returns in August, I think we'll see a lot of FOMO, a lot of demand for the token. Then the returns in September, we expect more FOMO, and yeah, it will all be driven to TGE. So all you need is USDT on Solana. You can go to the website, check out tokenomics, check out the white paper, read all about it. All the information is on the page, and yeah, you can get involved. Good question. Yeah, I'm really confident in Opulus. I think let me just try and find a better chart. There we go. I think Opulus has been so active during the bear market. Every single week, month, they've got new updates, they've got new listings, they've got new roadmap, they've got so much going for them. I think they just continue to build. I think people get frustrated because they're maybe not active in a Telegram or Discord and stuff, but ultimately it's because they're actually building real product behind the scenes, and that should be the most bullish thing for everyone. The chart obviously isn't great right now, but what I'm feeling bullish about is we put in a low, we put in another low, we then put in a new lower low, but we've came back to that level. If we hold this as support, then that's just the spring and back test that we've saw all across the crypto space before the real rallies start. So yeah, I would like, it's 3 hours till the 3-day candle closes. This is a 3-day chart. I'd quite like us to close above this blue line and then follow through a green 3-day candle in the next 3 days. And then for me, that probably the bottom end, and we can start going up. And like I said last night, is if you watch Opulus, it moves incredibly quickly. So whenever it pumps, I mean, even if you take here, I think this is when we first announced it, you can see 7th of January to the 3rd of February, it moved 600% in less than a month. So these things move really quickly. There's not a lot of sell pressure, there's not a lot of resistance levels. It doesn't take a lot of capital to move a small market cap coin. It doesn't need billions. It literally needs hundreds of thousands, maybe millions, but it does not need billions. And we're talking about trillions flowing into the crypto market over the next few months. So yeah, I think Opulus will do well. I don't have any concerns about Opulus actually. Any thoughts on Zilliqa? I used to hold quite a lot, and then I sold it years ago. Let me find the chart. I've still got some, but I think it's one of the legacy coins that's not really captured any imagination. I do think it will still do well. I've said this a few times before that I think these legacy coins will do really well just because they've got history. So when bigger capital flows out of the market, it's not going to buy something that launched like 6 months ago. It's going to want something that it can see development, it can see a team, and of course chart and price history is really important. So yeah, I think it'll do well. I think there is people still building on Zilliqa, the chain. I don't know who, but yeah, I think it's in this accumulation zone. Once it gets back into this kind of area here, it'll probably consolidate again, and then we could see it move. And again, it moves pretty fast, to be fair. And you can see how quickly it moves. You know, you've got this long drawn out accumulation phase, and then boom, just absolute flies. So in 2021, in 150 days, it done 900% basically. So, yeah. Yes, you have Vantage invests in different funds, invests across the market, so different assets, so not just crypto. And that's why the benefits of it is, even when crypto goes into the next bear market, Vantage will still be making money because it's invested across the entire global economy. Let's have a look at Doge. Just buying off that 200-day moving average. I think that breaks in the next 24 hours, 40 hours. Just look at this. Back to this wick high, this candle top, these candle tops here, and the 200-day moving average. Everything's lined up. The whole market looks the exact same. There's just so many key levels that tokens are approaching. And when this breaks, I think Doge is going to have an amazing run. And I wouldn't imagine it'll take long to get through this MA. Let's have a look at SWE. And somebody asked about NEAR actually. Let's check NEAR first. Pretty similar story. You know, double bottom. Probably more drawn out than most. Let's look at it on the 3-day. Yeah. So really needs to get up to that 319 level. And then you'll probably see a decent move. Maybe up to 465. You can see SWE bumping its head against this $4 level, psychological level. Get through here. It won't be long before it gets back to 537, and then from there, price discovery all-time high. It's been one of the strongest performers over the last kind of 6 to 12 months. I think it'll do really well, and you can see it's just battling with a 618 level as well. Closed above it, fell back through it today, but I think with Ethereum showing some real strength, I think the altcoin market is just buzzing right now. XRP back up at 337, which is very nice. Filling that wick. Let's see how our sell order's doing. Yeah, still 3.7 million. So somebody really doesn't want XRP to fly tonight. Let's look at the chat. What's your thoughts on MV? That 3 million sale at 341, still there. Yeah, now up at 3.7. Paul, good question, Paul. I will cover that in a second. Let's have a look at MV. So we spoke about not necessarily MV the other night, but what we did speak about was gaming. So gaming has kind of fell off. It just fell off the radar, to be honest, in crypto over the last 6 to 12 months. But that's just pure liquidity. And you see it with launchpad tokens as well. So launchpad tokens like Flame, they've all had a real hard time of it over the last 12 months. Gaming and Flame, and the reason for that is just liquidity. So liquidity is the key to the entire market. And when liquidity sucked out the market, the more risky, the more kind of degen plays suffer the most. You think of launchpads launching new tokens, new projects, fundraising for people. Who's doing that when there's no liquidity in the market? You look at gaming. Gaming is mostly degens. It's mostly it's a tough market to crack as well, because you're up against some huge gaming studios in the traditional world. So these are the spaces that hurt the most when there's no liquidity. And gaming will come back. MV looks like it's recovered a little bit, up 76% for its bottom. Still a long way to go. Probably talking up here before anyone in CC Pro starts getting excited about it. But I think the start would be to get back above 2 cents. Once we get above this big cascading candle and this big pump candle, then we can start looking higher. I thought this was interesting today as well, as Bitcoin is going to be exempt from tax in the States as well. So the reason this is important for me is that the US government says it wants to have a strategic Bitcoin reserve. If it allows people to pay taxes in Bitcoin and avoid paying personal tax, they can accumulate Bitcoin without having to spend any money. So I think that's a move that the US government will probably make. I think states will probably do it as well, where they'll say you can avoid paying tax by paying with Bitcoin. So people will save like 10-20% by paying their federal taxes in Bitcoin. And that's a way of the US government accumulating without spending. Let's have a look at Xborg. Down at 9 cents. I think I've said it before. I think Xborg could do $1 pretty easy. I think they've probably been so active since they launched last year. They do so much content. They're always doing partnerships with different brands. I think they've signed the biggest esports brands. But again, it's a liquidity. It's, if you think about crypto over the last 6, maybe even longer months, but definitely over the last 6 months, it's been dead. There's no one in crypto. Engagement on Twitter, engagement on YouTube, everything's down. It's been horrific, to be fair. So gaming communities, they'll all be suffering massively because of the drawdown. So yeah, I think it's just about patience. And I think that is something everybody needs to remember, is we went down for months. So we can't just snap our fingers and be back up at the highs. I think it's going to take time. There's going to be different moves as well. You saw Bitcoin absolute steam ahead. You're now seeing XRP, hopefully Ethereum, Solana, things like that to follow. But yeah, it's just a waiting game, and it's just patience at this point. Netflix earnings have just came out as well, with a record beat, I think. So that'll do wonders for the stock market tomorrow. Nasdaq already at an all-time high. Looks like it's kind of selling off on the news, to be fair, Netflix. But yeah, 16% beat in revenue, which is pretty big. Let's have a look at IOTA, and then we'll do Naka. IOTA looks really nice from a trade point of view. IOTA looks very nice indeed. It's not one I normally scan for, but let's have a look. Hey, look, you can look back in time and see this level being respected. We've broken the 200-day moving average. It just so happens to be there. We've back tested its support. Looks like we could go into, let's try and draw on. So maybe something like that would play out for IOTA. Just cool off after breaking through key resistance, cool off for a couple of days, build a base of support, and then head back up. It looks really Really strong actually from this point of view. And if you go on the weekly time frame, let's take this off. Weekly time frame, you can see that double bottom that's everywhere in the space right now. To be fair, I don't know who asked me. It was Shiv that asked me. I don't know if it's one you track. I don't know if you trade. But if you hold it or trade it, like this level here, looked like an amazing level to, you know, obviously move down here, bit of a false move back down, but you can see it was a pretty big level back to 2023, so that could have been a nice area to take a trade on. This is a weekly. Naka looks like it's bottomed. It's going to put in a double bottom like every other altcoin right now. Yeah, if you hold it, hopefully you've been buying in these lows. If not, this is probably your last chance to buy this cheap. Obviously nothing's guaranteed. It could come back down and test the low again, but given that every other altcoin seems to be putting in double bottoms and then bouncing out, you would suggest that this is probably Naka getting ready to break the double bottom and then move up higher. Borgie. Not been asked about Borgie in weeks. So for me, I think we will see an insane meme coin mania when we go into that euphoric stage. So Borgie, Pepe, Shiba, Brett, all these big ones, all these big meme coins, I think will do really well. The reason I'm including Borgie in that is because while Borgie's probably not a brand name like Pepe, it has a massive community behind it in Swissborg, and you saw that it did what, 64x from launch. That was powered by the Swissborg community. So if Borg does well, Swissborg onboard new users, you expect Borgie to do well. So yeah, I'm bullish on Borgie. I think it could do another all-time high. I think it could break that 64 million FTV. Because it's like anything as well. If it's not ran and it doesn't pump when the market is, people will rotate profits into it, trying to gamble on it pumping soon. So yeah, I'm pretty bullish on Borgie long term. Margaret, we have not covered Inspect, so let me do that. Let me have a look. Yeah, pretty big hopes for Inspect. I've been banging on about it for like 2 years. So yeah, I look forward to see what it can do. I do think it's probably just like that last chart I showed, where it's broken out, it's got up to a certain level, it's just going to cool off a little bit, just accumulate, trade sideways for a couple of days, and then we'll see another impulse move higher. You see it in a lot of cryptos. I'm trying to think. You look at Ethereum, massive run, trade sideways, cool off, and then boom. It's just the way charts move. It doesn't matter if it's crypto, stocks, equities, gold, silver, oil. You just need that time to cool off after a big move. So yeah, Inspect looks pretty good. I think we'll see some high targets in the coming months as well, because small market cap, it's everywhere because it's on Twitter. Yeah, I think it'll do pretty well. XRP working on its highest daily candle close in history. If it closes above 329, which looks very possible. Really fighting with that 338 level. Our sell order is now up to 4 million, and there's now a 1.4 million sell order at 339. So it's going to take a bit of work to get through 339, but you can see it coming down. It was 1.4 when I flicked on. Yeah, 1.5. People are adding to the sell orders. Whether it's take profits, whether it's short level, you know, it doesn't show you what this is. This is just Binance as well. So let's see what is Bitfinex going. Yeah, let's see. So you can see some big sell orders there for Bitfinex, because Bitfinex doesn't have the same volume. Coinbase won't have it. So yeah, interested to see what happens. This could just be people piling out shorts as well. This could be loads of people with limit orders to take a short at this price. We can't see the detail, but yeah, it's interesting that there's like 6 million sitting between 339 and 341 in sell pressure. $338.55. I think the other thing, I bet there's a lot of shorts that will close once we get to all-time high. So once we get to all-time high, we could actually see quite an explosive move with shorts closing, because when you close a short, you effectively buy the asset. So yeah, it'd be interested to see the reaction if we do get through 339. Does look like we're going to get a new all-time high tonight. $340. Are we going to get that move? Let's go down into a shorter time frame. 15-minute chart. Oh, there we go. You can see the sell orders come in. Every time we get to that 340 level, we just sell back down. 340. It's going to be exciting. It's tense. It's tense. I did say earlier it could have been a sell the news, but it just didn't feel like a sell the news event. So let's see. If we could get a daily candle close above 340, then tomorrow, the weekend, is going to be epic. There we go, 340. There we go. We are now cooking with gas. We are now at all-time highs. XRP is broken its all-time high. And yeah, let's see where we can get to now. Let's just go down to the hour time frame. Bitcoin back up close to 120k. Ethereum back at $3,445. But XRP 341, 342 is coming fast. And yeah, it looks like we are flying now. Let's quickly move over to these. Yeah, look. They've just moved all their sales. All the sales just got taken out. So whoever was doing that was just spoofing the market. It wasn't real sell orders. So 342. Let's see if the 345 one, if we get there, goes. It is absolutely flying. XRP is breaking out. We are now up at 344. I told you those were fake orders. We saw them earlier when we joined the stream. Over $7 million in sales, and they were all fake. And somebody's just removed them and let the price go. This is clear crypto price manipulation 101. Hold the price down until everything's in place and then let the taps loose. That's exactly what's happened. And I think a massive shout out to everybody that holds XRP. It's been a brutal period with the court case, price suppression, all the horrific news stories coming out against XRP, and finally we are at all-time highs. And the exciting bit starts now, because I think XRP could gear up for an insane rally. And I said it a few months ago actually, that I thought XRP could be the catalyst for a proper alt season, because there's so many crypto people that are holding XRP that as soon as this rallies, and it rallies hard, they're going to take that profit and rotate it into the market because they've been holding for so long. So yeah, could be massive. 344. Where's our next sell wall? 351. Oof, that's a big jump, to be fair. 346. But yeah, 2 million at 351. So let's see what happens if we do get there. Doesn't look like it's stopping. If we go to the 15-minute chart, it's basically straight up. So we are on course for a new all-time high daily candle close. A daily candle close above the previous all-time high as well would be hugely bullish, and a 3-day candle close above the all-time high. That is a massive signal. I do think we'll see a lot of FOMO as well. I think the one thing everybody underestimates as well is XRP is one of those tokens, one of those crypto coins that's been shoved in everybody's face. It's been on CNBC all bear market basically. Bitcoin, Ethereum and XRP are always on CNBC, so I think FOMO could really kick in. We're above 345 now. Just this thing is just not stopping. $345. This is unreal. And yeah, I do think I think XRP memes will definitely have a good time of it. I think probably once XRP cools off, I think right now all the liquidity will be taken by XRP itself. And Ripple is one of the stable coins that's going to do well from the Genius Act. So the Genius Act passing is really bullish for the Ripple, is it RLUSD? And of course, the XRP ledger is going to benefit from massive stablecoin adoption, because a lot of people send money across the XRP ledger. So yeah, hugely bullish, from court case to actual positive regulation. Lewis Glasgow, that seems above my pay grade, but if you've lost the seed phrase, it might be difficult. If somebody crypto buys, say the XLM, it's not really moving, to be fair. I think it's already had a bit of a move. XRP back down at 341. To be honest, any daily close above this previous candle close I think is bullish. I think if we get a daily candle close above 340, That's unreal. It's interesting it all came as the US stock market closed as well. And then we've got the Asian markets wake up in a few hours. They're going to wake up to a new all-time high for XRP. Could send it again. Apologies, Paul, because I know you did ask, but I got distracted by history. But yeah, I think the bundles are really good on Swissborg. I think if you've got one already, they're great. I'm definitely going to use the golden thematic in the bear market. What I would say is, if prices are below your average buy price right now, that would be where I would focus my attention. So if your average buy price for, I don't know, Chile's coin was 6 cents, it's now at 4, I would probably go there rather than starting something new, especially because inside those bundles you'll have coins that have already pumped quite a lot. So that would be my priority, and I probably wouldn't start with a new token right now, unless there's something new that you really want to buy. I wouldn't buy a new token at this stage. But yeah, I would just focus on average buys, or go and buy Vantage. That would be my other advice. Nothing financial advice, obviously. Just because they're... Two seconds, let me see if I can get this story on the screen, which is insane if true. Let me do it here. If you've been following us for a while, you've been in CC Pro, you've been listening to the podcast, we spoke about this about 2 years ago, that this was why we were so confident in all-time highs, was because the new liquidity coming out of crypto was going to eclipse what came in the past. Things like this, things like the stablecoin legislation, that's why we're so confident in new all-time highs, because the amount of capital that's going to come into crypto is insane. If you guys see on your screen, you might be listening to this, Trump is set to open US retirement market to crypto investments by allowing 401k plans to tap into digital assets. That's an insane headline. If it's true, I assume it is. It looks like it's from the Financial Times. It's probably true. We've said this for ages. Retirement plans, pension funds, all stuff like that. Investing in crypto is where the next generation of wealth is going to come from. 346, we are back at another all-time high. Let's go onto the 15-minute time frame. Just watch this thing. So yeah, hugely bullish for the markets, and more liquidity is coming. The market cap for the total market cap of crypto, we're currently at 3.8 trillion. We've said we'll get to 4.4 pretty soon. For me, I think we'll get close to 10 this cycle. That's $6 trillion that still needs to come out of the market. That's a lot of cash. And I agree with what Dex said. So Dex said he thinks we're going to have a rally, a cool off, a dump, and then another proper euphoric rally. I've said for a while that I can see that happening. I can see us running 347. This thing just will not stop. I can see us having a massive euphoric phase in the next 60 days. And then we'll see a retracement, a dump, whatever, a crash, whatever you want to call it. And people will say that's it. The cycle's topped, the market's topped, it's done, bear market, blah, blah, blah. And then just when everybody's turning bearish, Bitcoin maybe drops, I don't know, maybe drops into the 70s again. Everybody's turning bearish, thinking the bear market's coming, start selling off whatever they've got. That's when we rally again. Just as everybody's so pessimistic, so bearish, then the market turns and absolutely rips higher and goes to a proper euphoria stage, FOMO buying, maybe into Q1 2026, and then it's done, and that'll be the second rally, because that's what happened in 2021. I remember it well. The summer was the most brutal period, because when Bitcoin hit 64k in 2021 in April, everybody said it was going to 100k. Then you had the El Salvador story, you had Tesla, you had Elon, you had all this stuff going on, and then the summer crashed 50%, and everybody thought they had missed their chance. And then the winter comes, and boom, we absolutely pumped so hard into the winter, into November, and then the Fed announced that they would be starting to hike rates in 2022, and the market collapsed a week later. So yeah, I think we could see that similar thing playing out. I still think we're going to get a lot higher before that happens. So I do think we'll get Ethereum probably to all-time high before that happens. I think we'll see Solana back at all-time high. We'll see some of the broader market hit all-time highs, and then it'll happen. So the four-year cycle thing, it depends what you mean. So if you look at, so we are at I think we're going to get to 350. If you look at Bitcoin on the weekly, so we put in all-time high in March just before the halving. But if you actually look at when the halving happened, okay, we went into a bit of consolidation period, but we still pumped after it. Regardless of what anyone says, the 4-year cycles, whether you believe it or not, the halving still has a bit of an impact. It just deteriorates over time. So I still think it'll still have an impact. It just won't have as big an impact over time, and then obviously it makes mining a lot more difficult because it's less profitable. Yeah, if I hit target, Dan, it's not a daft question. If I hit targets tonight, I'll be taking profits. I am not waiting for a time period. I'm waiting for a price. If you wait for a time, you'll miss it. You'll get wrecked. Set profit levels, execute, set sell orders if you can, and get out of the market as quick as you can. That is literally the goal. Hit your profit taking targets and get out of the market. Time won't matter. No, so I spoke about this last night. Good question, Dan, and this is something we speak about in CC Pro, and this is why I bang on about CC Pro all the time. But it's a private members community for MD that's just tuning in. But ultimately, what we try and help people do is not make silly mistakes and not lose money. So it's much about making money, but it's also keeping that money, keeping those profits, and also not buying hype, buying absolute tops. So if you're not in CC Pro, I really suggest you should be in there just for that educational point. We have spoke about this quite a lot. We spoke about it last night, but basically when we take profits, we'll be taking them into stables and getting out of the market, because what will happen, it's just a game of musical chairs. So if you take profits on XRP here and you scroll through and you look at Arbitrum's down a lot, I might buy some Arbitrum. Okay, that might be good. You might make a quick flip, and then you try and do it again and again and again. Eventually you get left holding the bag, and then eventually you get wrecked and you lose big sums of cash. So for me, we've been in this market now. The bear market started November 2021, so we're coming up 4 years. Take profits and go and enjoy them, chill out. So Scott, good question. So the way we always talk about taking profits is taking percentages. So you always leave a little bit to run, but mostly out. Yeah, to be fair, I don't hold massive amounts of Bitcoin. I kind of accumulate it as I go. So I won't be buying Bitcoin at 150 to 200k, but I'll definitely rotate any Bitcoin in the bear market. I've said a few times before, anything outside kind of the top maybe 20 cryptos, I think are going to have a really tough bear market. If they don't have a real business, if they don't have a real revenue model, if they don't deliver any value to holders in a bear market, I think they go to zero pretty quickly. And the reason for that is because smart money, XRP, new all-time high, 348, I'll keep saying it. The reason I think altcoins are going to struggle is because tokenized equities are coming on chain. So if I can hold tokenized Google stock and make monthly dividends, then I'm not going to hold Zilliqa and earn nothing and just watch it go down 90% and hope that in 4 years' time it pumps. Like, I'm just not going to do that. Like, you need to become a smart investor. Crypto is like the degen playground, but eventually you have to make those profits make more money, and the easiest way to do that is invest in stuff that pays you passively. That's another reason we created Vantage, was because we want to rotate those profits and still earn money. So yeah, I think that's why we want Vantage to do well. For everybody that follows us, everybody that's bought the token, they'll earn through a bear market. It doesn't matter about the token price. Any altcoin that doesn't pay people for holding during a bear market, I think could go to zero. Because tokenized equities are going to suck up all that demand. So yeah, altcoins, I don't want to be holding many beyond this cycle. Bitcoin's different. Bitcoin's going to be here for ages. I don't want to say forever, but definitely for the rest of my lifetime. I will be buying as much as I can. I think in an AI world, in a future world that we're kind of sleepwalking into, I think Bitcoin is the only real store of wealth. It's also the only real thing that you can verify. Dollars, euros, pounds go to zero over time. We know that. So yeah, I'll be stacking as much Bitcoin with my profits, but not straight away. So I'll let it crash. Don't believe that we won't have a bear market hype. We will have. Bitcoin will crash. I said it the other night. I think it can get as low as I think it could go as low as 48k in the next bear market. I might be wrong, but I'll be buying sub 100k, ideally sub 69k. That'll be the area I buy Bitcoin heavy in the next bear market. Yeah, to be fair, Jimmy has a good point. I think the golden thematic on Swissborg is a good product. You know, you've got gold and Bitcoin, and it just rebalances between the two. You get that commodity exposure. I think, I don't think I would say stocks and commodities are that less volatile, and especially in the next 10 years with AI, I think stocks will become very volatile. I think commodities is a great play. I think energy stocks are going to be massive. I think I spoke to somebody in CC Pro about a year ago about copper. I think energy is the next big area where there's going to be huge gains. You saw Tesla or Elon Musk is importing. He's bought a power station and he's importing it to America to power XAI. Like, that tells you there's not enough power in America to power AI. So yeah, I think commodities, energy stocks, all things like that will do well. And then of course gold. I've showed this chart before, but not for a while. Let's have a look. Let's take this off. So there was somebody on a stream, but basically they held loads of Bitcoin and they never sold in 2021, and then they think they bought altcoins. But anyway, the point is, if you flip into gold, let me try and find it. So when Bitcoin was $69,000, an ounce of gold was $1,800. So if you sold all your Bitcoin and bought gold, and then waited for the bear market bottom, which was November 2022, so just here, it was basically the same price. So you can store your wealth in gold, and obviously you can see what's happened since. It's absolutely rallied hard. So gold might be an opportunity as well, not necessarily to make massive gains, but just to protect your wealth and not lose 90% of it. $2.25 sale, still sitting at 351. Anyone that ever asks you why centralized exchanges are massive scams, that's a prime example tonight. Huge sell order, no intention of executing, just spoofing the market, slapping the price back down, and then eventually let it go. Bitcoin back above 120k as well, pushing towards that 121k. I think we'll see a lot of Bitcoin retraces, altcoins rally, and then Bitcoin runs and altcoins cool off, because I think a lot of people that have held altcoins over the last 12 months, 2 years, whatever you want to say, have realized that Bitcoin is the king, and the goal of trading altcoins is to buy more Bitcoin. So I think anyone taking profits might buy into Bitcoin. So you will see, when we see big profit taken in the altcoin market, expect Bitcoin to do pretty well as people just rotate, especially if you've got a long time preference. If you're optimizing for 15 years from now, buy Bitcoin anytime. Buy it today, buy it tomorrow. Don't care about it. If you're buying it to try and trade it, then you obviously want to buy it as cheap as possible. So wait for kind of bear market lows. But if you just want Bitcoin for a store of wealth over the next 15 years, it doesn't matter when you buy it. And I think somebody done a study where if you'd put 10k into every single Bitcoin top, every cycle top, that would have been, what, 40k, and you would now have 480k, something like that. So, yeah. It's all about individual goals. It's all about what you're trying to achieve, how long you've got to achieve it, how much cash you have at disposal, and when you need the cash back is a big driver as well. Binance Coin trying to break out of this little pattern. Some massively bullish daily candle closes. Somebody asked me about Algo. Up 10% on the day. Nice little move. Hedera making moves as well. I wonder if there's going to be some news about that crypto strategic reserve, because XRP was named in it, it's up 13%. Cardano was named in it, it's up 6%. Algorand was named in it, it's up 10%. And Hedera was named in it, and it's up 10%. While the rest of the market's kind of 2, 3, some 4, some 1s. The total altcoin market's up 3%. So there's definitely outliers. They all seem to be part of this crypto strategic reserve. So I'll be interested to see if we see any news that normally follows the price action. If we see that in the next few hours. Now seeing loads of reports about the retirement funds. So it's 9 trillion sits in US retirement funds, and Trump is expected to sign an executive order in the next 7 days to allow them to invest in crypto, gold and private equity, which they're not currently allowed to. Yeah, I think I covered it last night. I think, to be fair, I think if you're trading VeChain, it looks like it's got a lot of upside potential. 209% from today's price just to the December high. This is what's really exciting about crypto right now, is these December highs seem miles away. They're just the start for me. Once we break those December highs, we're going to see some huge moves in crypto. So some nice bullish moves just to reclaim the December highs. Everybody will make a lot of money, but then beyond that, there's huge upside potential for a lot of coins. I think VeChain looks pretty good. I think reclaim this orange line at the peak of the double bottom, and then you're flying. Jamie, I wasn't meaning solar and wind. But they're probably not a bad shout. I was more meaning like commodities themselves. So energy stocks will do well. So big energy companies in the US. I think there's an energy ETF. Let's see. Let's see if I can put this up. So yeah, this is a energy ETF. So something like this would probably do well. Invested into basically the broad energy market, but I was more thinking about actual commodities. So copper, uranium, gold and silver, obviously, oil. Things like that. I think anything energy related will do well. XRP retracing a little bit from the highs back down to 343. Can't believe we're saying down to 343. 2 hours 23 minutes till the candle close. That is going to be an epic candle close, the highest in history, but more importantly the signal it's going to send to the market. XRP at all-time high. I think the SEC have still got the case open as well. They've not even dropped their appeal, so the case hasn't been fully closed. So yeah, what happens when that happens? Yeah, we could see a pullback. We could see something like go up to 350, come back down to 340, trade sideways. But to be honest, I've said it before, XRP moves so fast. It's such an explosive coin that why give people the chance to buy? This is what we saw across the market. So me, Deck and Don were talking about this the other day. I think I spoke about it last night on stream, but let's look at Bitcoin because it's just a really good example. But this dump here, the April tariffs, no, actually, sorry, this was the Israel-Iran stuff. Bitcoin came down and hit 98k, but it should have came in 97. So there is like a gap of like $1,000 there. If we look at this one here, this was the tariffs. So we came down to 74.7, but we should have came down to 73.7. So there's another $1,000 gap. And basically what's happening is people are setting loads of buy orders around key levels, but buy demand steps in before they get to those levels because they don't want to miss out, and the price never reaches the buy orders. So it's a bit like XRP, and it's the same with Bitcoin now. Everybody expected when we got this wick down to 115.8 the other day. Everybody thought we'd just go back and test the all-time high before carrying on. Bitcoin never done that because there's too much buy demand, there's too much hype, FOMO starting to kick in. I think the same could happen with XRP. We could go up to 350, we could maybe come down and test the all-time high at 340. I just don't think we give people that want to buy at 340 another opportunity to buy at that price. I think we see a massive move upwards. Let's have a look at the fibs actually, because that might be quite interesting. Sure, is it 440 is the next logical? 450. So yeah, 450. So you can see, yeah, I mean we could get somewhere up here and then come back, but next 24 hours will kind of dictate, I think. Especially if tomorrow we got news that the SEC had dropped their appeal and the case was finally signed, sealed and done. But yeah, Jamie, any energy stocks, I think, like, the thing is, AI uses so much energy, and AI is going to be everywhere in the next 2 years. They're talking about humanoid robots being properly in mass production in the next 2 years. They talk about robotics in workplaces in the next 2 years. Everybody keeps saying this 10-year horizon. AI is not a 10-year horizon. AI is a 2-year horizon max. If you're not using AI every single day already, then you're probably getting beat by your competitors. So, but the amount of energy it uses is huge. So any energy stock is going to be in high demand. You've got, I think Amazon has just bought a nuclear power plant. Tesla has bought a power plant, and Microsoft are in negotiations to buy a nuclear power plant, all to fund AI, all to power their AI. It uses huge amounts of energy. So yeah, and then obviously you've got EVs, you've got all this stuff that's just going to be so intense for energy. That's why you've got countries like Holland warning of blackouts because of their data center usage. It's just gone through the roof. Part of why the UK is a bit of a disaster, because we have terrible energy infrastructure. But yeah, so yeah, that could be a play for the next 10 years. I would imagine energy is going to be a massive narrative, but still risky. I think if you've endured crypto like I kind of feel like I have over the last 5 years, I'm looking for more passive. So things that pay me monthly, dividends, passive income that I can just sit and chill, which is why property doesn't really appeal to me, because it's still hands-on. You still have to worry about a roof caving in or a boiler going bust in the middle of the night. Like, you still have to worry about this stuff. It's not truly passive. Plus the yield, I mean, I see posts about property earning 10-12% yield, but then you factor in your insurance, you factor in your loan rates maybe changing, you have no control over those things. The real yield's much lower. So yeah, I think anything that I can get passive income, just sit back and chill, that'll be more what I'm looking for rather than energy stocks. I mean, I've never even mentioned Bitcoin mining. Like, eventually governments around the world have to wake up to the fact that the only way they're going to be able to get Bitcoin is by mining it, because they're not going to be able to afford to buy much if it's trading at 150, 200k. Given that most governments are bankrupt on paper anyway, so they're going to have to mine it. The only way to mine it is with huge amounts of energy. So somebody asked me earlier for a bit of explainer on the Clarity Act. So the Clarity Act, I said, was about the SEC and the CFTC, who controls what. So the Clarity Act's just passed the House. It still needs to go past the Senate. But the main thing for the Clarity Act is it's actually going to set rules for what tokens qualify for the SEC to govern them and what qualifies for the CFTC. And it looks like Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum and XRP have all been designated not securities but commodities, so they will be controlled by the CFTC once this law is signed into legislation. So that means XRP won't be under the control of the SEC, which kind of means that the case 1 is over, but 2 is pointless because it's not even the SEC's guidance anymore. So pretty bullish. XRP back up at 346. Does anyone follow the White House on Twitter? Let me see if I can get this up on screen. This is comedy gold. I've been saying this for a while, but Trump might be chaos, but he does some funny stuff. So how can you not be bullish on markets when you've got the White House tweeting GIFs saying you just stepped into day 179 of the Trump golden age. I make it rain, make it rain.
I make it rain, I make it rain, make it rain on them. I make it rain, I make it rain, I make it rain on them. I make it rain, I make it, I make it rain, I make it rain, make it rain on them. I make it rain, I make it rain, I make it rain on them. I make it rain, I make it, I make it rain, I make it rain, make it rain on them. I make it rain, I make it rain, I make it rain on them. I make it rain, I make it, I make it rain, I make it rain, make it rain on them. I make it rain, I make it, I make it rain on them. I make it rain, I make it, I make it rain, I make it, make it rain on them. I make it rain, I make it, I make it rain on them. I make it rain, I make it, I make it rain, I make it, make it rain on them. I make it rain, I make it, I make it rain on them. I make it rain, I make it, I make it rain, I make it, make it rain on them. I make it rain, I make it, I make it rain on them. I make it rain, I make it, I make it rain, I make it, make it rain on them. I make it rain, I make it, I make it rain on them. I make it rain, I make it, I make it rain, I make it, make it rain on them. I make it rain, I make it, I make it rain on them. I make it rain, I make it, I make it rain, I make it, make it rain on them. I make it rain, I make it, I make it rain on them. I make it rain, I make it, I make it rain.
Some very bullish daily candle closes. Bitcoin above 120k, Ethereum 3,470. Ethereum I think cracks 3,500 in the next couple of days, and I think when it does that, we're going to see some massive capital rotation throughout the market. Solana still technically lagging a little bit, 175. It led obviously in December. We've got BNB 722 breaking out. XRP, the biggest news of the day, up new all-time high of 348, 349. Massive move, and a daily candle close above 340 is huge. The American-made coins seem to be doing very well. Hedera now up 12%. Algo up 10%. So yeah, be interested to see if there's any news about them tomorrow. Let's check in on those sell orders. Yeah, still 2.3 million. I think this removes, I think if the price actually gets up, that gets taken out. I don't think it's real sell orders like we saw earlier. $150 Borg, yeah. I said it the other night, but if you don't subscribe to the channel, you won't get notifications when we go live. We sometimes do it impromptu, like tonight. Big news, breakout of XRP. We had to jump on and go live. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like the stream, because we're going to be breaking all the news this cycle. This bull run, we are going to be live all the time with all the biggest moves, keeping you up to date. But if you need even more, CC Pro is where it's at. The link is in the chat, it's in the description. Yeah, Jamie, huge moves, huge moves. And it's nice that they're actually now getting closer and they're actually single digits, because for a while there they were 10, 15, 20x. So yeah, it's nice. So XRP trading 346, new all-time high of 349, daily close above 340 incoming. I think we're setting ourselves up for a huge rally in XRP. You can see it climbing much higher over the next few days. Like I said, there might be a check back, but this looks very strong. Bitcoin back at 120k as well. That is all for tonight from this stream. We will be back with more and more streams. As we get big moves in the market, we will go live. Make sure you're in CC Pro for all the latest updates, and I will catch you very soon, hopefully tomorrow night with some new all-time highs. Thanks for tuning in. I will see you very soon.